Hello, welcome to this IPA Summit 2024 presentation. My name is Jo Franks. I'm a master herbalist. I'm an iridologist. I went through Dr. Christopher's School of Natural Healing back in 1999. I finished that, and I also finished up Dr. Pesik's Holistic Iridology program at that same time. So I've been doing iridology for about 25 years, and I've been a master herbalist since then too. And I now work at the School of Natural Healing, and I have been doing that since 2005. So I'm going to be doing my presentation on hold on, I gotta get this on the constitutions and herbology. So I'm just going to talk about herbs that can be used for the different constitutional types by color, structure, and subtypes. Because when we treat the whole person, the body can heal, and rather than just treat symptoms. So we'll just talk about the different herbs that can be used for the different constitutions in the iris. So herbs work in different ways in your body. We use them to cleanse the body. We use them to regulate the systems, the glands, and the different organs. We use them for nutrition and to raise the energy levels of the body. And we all use them to stimulate the body's immune system. I think this is probably the main reason why a lot of people do use herbs. When they get sick and want to get over an illness quickly, they'll turn to herbs. So when we cleanse the body with herbs, we're working on getting rid of the waste products that gather each day in the body. Everything has to eliminate, all our cells, even our thoughts provide a toxin that needs to be released through the liver. So the body's constantly trying to create equilibrium and cleanse itself so that it can heal. And so we don't want to interfere with that cleansing process. We want to use herbs and work with the cleansing process. And we work with the channels of elimination, which are the bowels and the kidneys, the lungs, and the skin. These are the eliminative channels where things can exit the body. And we also work with the liver, the bloodstream, and the lymph, because they are the parts of the body that help detoxify the system. With herbs, we don't get negative side effects. Usually, if you have a side effect, it's usually positive. It might cause a little bit of a discomfort while your body's cleansing, but it doesn't last very long. We need to learn what we're doing so that we can use knowledge, wisdom, and skill when we're using herbs to help cleanse the body. Herbs also regulate the system. They strengthen and normalize the glands, and they regulate and tone them so they can return to their normal function. And they strengthen all the organs in the system, which assists the body to cleanse, nourish, and heal. Herbs are also nutritional. We use herbs that are high in vitamins and minerals and other phytonutrients, and they nourish the body. They feed the body when other foods may be rejected or unassimilated in times of illness. We also use herbs to raise the energy levels of the body. They feed the body what it needs to stimulate energy levels for increased energy to heal. And they stimulate the immune system. They strengthen the immune system so that it can work better. There are herbs that fight infection. They're antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic, and they strengthen the immune system without destroying the friendly bacteria. They work with the body so the body can heal. And so when we take antibiotics, we all know that the friendly flora is destroyed in the gut. But with herbs, that doesn't happen. We can use herbs and strengthen the immune system, and we can strengthen the intestinal tract at the same time. So herbs that used to strengthen and enhance the immune system, elderberries are really good. The berries, the flowers, and the leaves can be used. Echinacea helps to stimulate the immune system and kick it in gear to make it strong when you're fighting a virus. Garlic is nature's natural antibiotic. Red raspberry leaves are used a lot to strengthen the immune function. They're also used for women's health and children's health. They're used in pregnancy to strengthen the womb. They're used for a lot of things. It's a good all-around herb to have on hand all the time. And lemon balm is an antiviral. It's used in things like shingles and different types of viral infections. It helps the nervous system as well, and it improves cognitive function. So there's a bonus. But the biggest thing that you want to remember when you're using herbs for the immune system is that you use them at the first sign of an illness. You don't wait till you're well into the illness to start taking herbs. You want to take them at the first drizzle, the first cough, the first sneeze, and then they work a lot better and they keep you from getting very sick. So elderberries are the spotlight for the immune system. Sambucus nigra are the blue elderberries. You don't want to use the red ones. They're a little toxic and they can cause some discomfort in the stomach and digestive tract. But the berries, flowers, and leaves can be used. They remove viruses from the body and prevent the viruses from attaching to the cells. They enhance the immune system, and they also prevent spike proteins from attaching to the cells. So elderberries are good. You can find elderberry syrup recipes on the internet, and they're very good and delicious and work really well. So how do we use herbs? Herbal teas are probably the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of you. They're made with the leaves and the flowers of the plants, and we call them an infusion. So we steep the flowers and the leaves in some boiling water or even cold water for a cold infusion. The volatile oils are present in the leaves and the flowers, and we don't want to boil those because the heat, a lot of heat will destroy the properties in the leaves and flowers. Decoctions are made with the bark and the root of the plant, and they're usually simmered in water or boiled because that brings out more of the constituents and makes them more powerful. You can use herbal capsules, and it's a convenient way to take herbs when you don't have time to make tea, and you don't have to taste it. You can just take the capsule, swallow it, and then your body can use it that way. You can make your own capsules if you have powder, and you can also make herbal extracts or get herbal extracts that are already made for you. The different menstruums you can use or you can get is alcohol, which is common, and that's commonly called a tincture. Vegetable glycerin or vinegar are also common. We like to use glycerin when we give herbs to our kids, or if they have a hard time swallowing capsules. And they're easy to make from the herbs you grow yourself. They can be used internally or externally, applied to the skin. It absorbs right into the skin pretty rapidly. So that's another way to use herbal extracts. Herbal powders you can buy those in bulk. You can powder herbs yourself, but these can be mixed into smoothies. They can be mixed in water, and you can drink them that way. You can save money by buying bulk herbs and making your own capsules as well. Powders can also be made into like a little a paste that may use as a poultice. So external applications of herbs are poultices, fomentations, ointments, salves, and lotions. And you can also soak in herbs in the tub or in a bucket. But a fomentation is used when you've made a tea. You can dip a cloth in the tea and apply it to the affected area, and then cover that with some plastic and bandage it on. And that can be on your skin for an hour or two, or even overnight. And the skin is really good to absorb those properties. And it helps with broken bones, sprained ankles, sore muscles, different types of skin problems. Anytime that you can't take an herb internally, maybe it's a good idea to put it over the skin. We've used peppermint over the stomach. We've used lots of different ways, lots of different fomentations, and we'll talk some more about some of them we use later. Poultices is where you put the herb itself right on the skin, bandage it on there. We use a lot of these for bee stings, for insect bites, wounds, acne and age spots. Dried powdered herbs can be mixed with water or an herbal tea that can be made into a paste, and you just apply that and secure it with a bandage. You can use fresh herbs, blend them up in a blender or chop them and place them directly on the skin. And aloe vera is a good example of a poultice for a burn. We just split the leaf open and tape it right onto the skin if there's a burn. You can also use a fresh plantain leaf over a insect bite or a bee sting. That works wonders for bee stings. It takes the pain out and it draws the venom out of the bee sting. It can be used for other types of things where you need to draw poisons out of the system, out of the skin. Ointments and salves and lotions. These are good topical applications. There's a lot of ways you can use them, and they contain herbs specific to different ailments. And this is a picture of Dr. Christopher's Complete Tissue and Bone. And we always have that on hand. It's for dry skin, rashes. It's also used for broken bones. It's used as an ointment in all kinds of skin ailments, sore muscles. We use it alongside his cayenne ointment as well. But you can even make your own ointments out of different herbs you've grown. We make a lot of calendula ointment or comfrey ointment, and we use St. John's wort. We use plantain, lots of different herbs that we put in ointments that we make. So when we use herbs in constitutional iridology, we're going to look at the iris color and this structure, and then we'll also look at the accumulated types. So the lymphatic type here appears blue, gray, or green, and these people are more likely to develop conditions associated with the mucous membranes, the kidneys, and the lymph. They have a tendency to be overacid, which could result in joint pain, arthritis, or rheumatism. They have an overactive immune system at times, and this results in allergies or different types of inflammatory conditions, joint pain, sinus congestion. Recommendations for the lymphatic type in general are to eliminate inflammatory foods, sugar, dairy, and gluten. They need to drink a lot of water, and they also need to eat an alkalizing diet, which includes fresh fruits and vegetables, fruit juices, and a lot of raw foods if they can tolerate them. They need to use digestive enzymes when needed. Exercise is very important for these people, for their circulation and the lymphatic health. Bowel cleansing and kidney cleansing on a regular basis, because the kidneys filter the toxins and they need to be healthy, and you need to keep them hydrated. But herbal support for the lymphatic type, we want to use demulcent herbs. These are herbs that soothe the mucous membranes, and they are slimy. When you get them wet, if they're dry powder, you'll feel that mucilaginous property. It thickens and it's slimy, and anytime an herb has that property, it's usually very healing and soothing to the surface that it comes in contact with. Fenugreek, marshmallow root. Yarrow isn't necessarily slimy, but it's really good for the lymphatic type. But slippery elm, mullein, and comfrey are all wonderful mucilaginous herbs. They can be used interchangeably or together with each other. But if you know which herbs are mucilaginous and you have some inflammatory conditions in the bowels, you can pick one of them and they all work really well. Another one that we use is the seeds. Can't think of them right now, but these also can be used internally and externally. So we want to keep the colon clean. We want to use formulas. We use Dr. Christopher's lower bowel formula. That's what we're familiar with. But if you have one that works well for you, by all means, use that one. Slippery elm and marshmallow. Flaxseed is what I was trying to remember. These are all very good for inflamed intestinal issues, colitis, inflammatory bowel problems. But we don't want to check the iris for the specific needs of the digestive tract and any other inflammatory issues that they might be dealing with. So marshmallow root is what we're going to talk about for the lymphatic system to support that type. The Latin name is Althea officinale, or Malva neglecta is what grows in people's yards. It's a common weed. The roots are what we use. It's a wonderful anti-inflammatory herb, an excellent diuretic and kidney healer. It's very mucilaginous. It coats, heals, and soothes inflammation in the body. You can use it in the eyes if they're inflamed. You can use it for lots of different things. It heals the mucous membranes. Dr. Christopher told a story about a young man who would ridicule his mother because she used herbs all the time for everything and make fun of her. And one time when he was at school, he came down with some kind of problems with his kidneys and it just doubled him over in pain. They had to take him home, and he begged her to use herbs on him. And so she went out and dug up some of the Malva neglecta plant because of the properties she knew that would help the kidneys. And he asked if he could just chew on the root. And after he chewed on the root for a few minutes, the pain just subsided, and he was able to overcome that. And he didn't ridicule his mother anymore after that for using herbs. But we want to use herbs that promote kidney health, which are parsley. This is high in potassium and lots of vitamins and minerals. It's very nutritious. We want to use dandelion leaves and the flowers. These are excellent diuretics. Juniper berries will help people avoid the urine if they have a hard time. Corn silk is a very, very good diuretic, and it can be used for bedwetting in children. Burdock cleanses the kidneys and also the bloodstream. And then for stones, we have uva-ursi, gravel root, and hydrangea. They'll help dissolve stones in the kidneys, in the gallbladder, in any other place that you have stones that need to be dissolved. And they also help to dissolve joint deposits. Marshmallow root is soothing and anti-inflammatory. And whenever you're using these herbs for the stones, the uva-ursi, gravel root, and hydrangea, adding marshmallow to that helps to take the edge off and coat the stones so that if they're passing through, they're not as painful. You can also use combinations for the kidneys, and these work wonderfully. And then we always want to remember to drink a lot of water for flushing the kidneys. Parsley is the herb that we're going to talk about for the kidneys, for the lymphatic type. Petroselinum crispum, it's high in potassium. So over-the-counter diuretics rob the body of potassium. They flush the potassium out of the system. But herbal diuretics usually contain a lot of potassium and other minerals that are good for the body. They're used for kidney and bladder problems, and they're good for the nervous system and adrenals. Parsley also helps digestion, but you don't want to use this if you're nursing because it will dry up the milk. It's very good at that. So the biliary type, this appears light brown. We always have visible trabeculi fibers in the biliary iris. And these people have more of a tendency for liver and gallbladder insufficiencies. They have problems with their pancreas, blood sugar imbalances, and they often have a sweet tooth. Digestion is an issue there, constipation, diarrhea, gas, and bloating as well. So for the biliary type, we want to eliminate or reduce added fats to the diet, especially hydrogenated oils and deep fried foods. We can use coconut oil or cold pressed olive oil as an alternative to hydrogenated oils. We want to eliminate added sugars and sweeteners. This includes artificial sweeteners. Eat more vegetables. Green vegetables and bitter greens are wonderful for this type because they help stimulate the bile in the liver. But we also, first of all, want to support digestion. Okay, so the biliary type herbal support would be Oregon grapefruit and barberry root because these are bitter. They're high in berberine and they help stimulate the liver to produce bile. Yellow dock is wonderful for the liver as well. Liver and gallbladder combinations, dandelion and gentian. Gentian's very bitter and it helps the digestion. And then dandelion is our herb for the biliary type today. It increases activity of the liver and the pancreas and spleen. And especially if you have enlargement of these organs, liver and spleen, it helps promote bile production. It's also used for kidney and troubles and diabetes, dropsy, inflammation of the bowels, and fever. It also helps remove acids from the blood. So it's a very good herb to use for a biliary type iris. So herbs to strengthen the pancreas for the biliary type. We have several different herbs that will help with the pancreas and with blood sugar issues. Gymnema is very good because it helps support healthy blood sugar levels. It helps to regulate insulin production and support pancreatic function. When you take Gymnema, it makes it so you can't taste sugar or the sweet. So it helps people lose their sugar cravings. And then bitter melon is used in traditional medicine for diabetes management. It may support pancreatic health and improve insulin secretion. And cinnamon is used to help improve insulin sensitivity and support overall pancreatic function. It's a really good one. Just add it to your food, and it's really good. Cedar berries is something that was discovered by Dr. Christopher kind of by accident. It helps regulate blood sugar levels, whether high or low, and improves pancreatic functions. So Dr. Christopher had a patient that came to him for a problem with his kidneys. He couldn't void his urine. So Dr. Christopher told him he needed to take juniper berries. And he said, oh, good, I have a juniper tree at home. I'll just start using those berries. So he came back a week or two later, and he told Dr. Christopher that those berries didn't work for him, and he was still having the kidney problem. So Dr. Christopher asked to see the berries he was using, and he discovered that it wasn't the true juniper berry. It was Juniperus monosperma. It's in the same family, but it has only one stone in the seed, in the berry. And he said, oh, just throw those away. You need to get the berries with 3 to 7 stones in them. He says, well, I'm not going to throw these away, because the funny thing is that since I've been using these, I can cut back on the insulin that I've been taking. And so Dr. Christopher had been having a hard time finding an herb that would help with that. And so he started using it with all of his patients that had blood sugar problems, whether high blood sugar or low blood sugar. And he found that it brings the pancreas back into balance. So he created the pancreas formula around the cedar berries, and he used other herbs to support the pancreas. So this is a picture of cedar berries. The berries take 2 years to mature. They look blue the second year, and the first year they look green, but they always just have one stone in the center. And it does help rebuild the pancreas. I've used it for lots of people, and they've been able to overcome either the need for so much insulin or regulate their blood sugar a lot easier. So a hematogenic eye, these are true brown eyes with no visible trabeculi fibers. These people more often have issues of the blood sugar imbalances, blood pressure imbalances. They can have a weak liver. They can also have glandular issues and digestive and eliminative disorders. They usually have low minerals. They have an inability to store minerals very well. So recommendations for the hematogenic type. What they need to eat a high fiber diet, including fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. And I'm probably going to be repeating that with about every type that we talk about. They want to eliminate meat and animal fats or limit them, cut back on them. They want to include greens, beets, berries, black cherries, red cabbage, red grapes, spinach, alfalfa, watercress, and other really good vegetables that help build healthy blood. Increase mineral-rich foods such as fresh vegetable juices. Carrots, beets, greens, and wheatgrass juice are really good for that, to rebuild the blood. They want to avoid processed foods with added sugar, white flour, fried foods, and heated oils, and they want to eliminate junk foods from their diet. So herbal support for the hematogenic type. For healthy blood, they want to eat foods that are high in chlorophyll, and these are the green foods: green leafy vegetables, wheatgrass juice, spinach, alfalfa, and watercress. They can use spirulina, chlorella, because they're really high in the chlorophyll. And alterative herbs help clear toxins out of the blood. They're also called blood cleansers. But if you're using alterative herbs, you always want to make sure the bowels and the liver are able to process the toxins. You don't want to give an alterative herb to someone who's not having regular bowel movements. So that's the first place you want to start. Improve the blood circulation with cayenne, ginkgo, ginger, or prickly ash bark. These are all good herbs for the circulation. And you want to support digestion with bitter herbs. Peppermint, chamomile, or ginger are also good herbs for digestion. So alterative herbs. These herbs gradually alter and correct impure conditions of the blood. A true alterative slowly but surely cleans and purifies the bloodstream and at the same time steadily tones up the organs or organ which may not be able to secrete impurities from the blood. So examples of alteratives are burdock, red clover blossoms, chaparral, poke root, pouty-arco, yellow dock, and garlic. And these herbs always help the lymph as well as the blood. So red clover is our poster herb for the biliary type because it helps to cleanse the blood. It's good for any skin disease. It's an antidote for cancer. That's what it was used for back in Dr. Christopher's time. It's used for bronchitis as well. It's usually combined with other alterative herbs and other herbs to tone up the system. So Dr. Christopher's bloodstream formula was originally called red clover combination because it was the main ingredient in that formula. And there's a story of him when he broke his car down when he was on a trip, and they had to, haul him about an hour to a place where he could get it fixed. And he was sitting in the waiting room with a man named Chief Sundance, and they were swapping stories, herbal stories. And he found out that Chief Sundance had almost the same identical formula that he had that was just like his red clover combination. And his comment was, well, the good Lord knew that we all needed it, so he put it in several different places. So red clover is a wonderful blood cleanser. We've seen it dissolve tumors. We've seen it do a lot of miraculous things. So constitutions by structure, we're going to talk about the neurogenic, the connective tissue, polyglandular, and the anxiety tetanic structures. Starting with neurogenic, the iris of the neurogenic has close, straight fibers with very few openings. These people are usually hard workers. They're very physically strong. They can get over an illness quickly, and they usually recover quickly from injuries or illnesses. But they do have a sensitive nervous system. They're more prone to ulcers or vascular spasms and possibly in cerebral vessels. So they very seldom get sick, but they do have problems with their nervous system. So herbs to support the neurogenic type. We want to use herbs that calm and strengthen the nervous system. Chamomile is not only unnerving, but it's also antispasmodic. It calms and relaxes, and it's very good for colicky babies. It helps children calm down, and it also helps with sleep. Other herbs for the nervous system are valerian, St. John's wort, blue and black cohosh are really very good herbs for the nervous system, skullcap, wood betony, and blue vervain as well. We want to support digestion with lower bowel formulas and digestive enzymes if they're needed. So chamomile is our neurogenic herb for the day. Latin name is Anthemis nobilis. It's a tonic, it's an antispasmodic, it strengthens the nervous system, and it's very calming, and it improves the appetite. I was teaching a class for an herbal class, and I had a 9-year-old boy in the class, and he went home when I talked about the chamomile. He went home and made chamomile tea and just kept drinking it. And he ended up on the couch just very, very relaxed. And he came back and told me about it. He says, that really works. So that was kind of fun to find out. And the connective tissue type, these people have loose weave fibers and many openings and lacunas in their iris. They have more of a connective tissue weakness, and they're more prone to injuries. So if you have 3 people on the basketball court and one of them has a connective tissue iris, he might be the one that sprains his ankle or something. But they need minerals, and they need silica because that keeps those connective tissues strong. So herbal support for the connective tissue type. There's 3 formulas that Dr. Christopher created that would be very helpful for these people. His complete tissue and bone formula was originally called the BF&C, and that stands for bone, flesh, and cartilage because it strengthens bones, it strengthens cartilage and the flesh of our system. He also created the calcium formula, which is high in herbs that are high in silica. He has the joint formula that helps strengthen the joints. So oat straw and horsetail are both very high in silica. Nettles is good, high in minerals. Comfrey strengthens and heals connective tissue. And oak bark is an astringent that brings things together. So oak bark is the herb that we're going to talk about for the connective tissue type. Its Latin name is Quercus alba. There's other types of oaks, scrub oak that grows quite abundantly around where I live. But oak bark is an astringent, which means it tones and it tightens tissue. Anytime there's loose tissue, you can use an astringent like oak bark and it tightens it up. It'll tighten gums, loose gums. It'll help bring varicose veins down and relieve the pressure in those. And it also helps with hemorrhoids. Any type of astringent is good to stop bleeding in the lungs and the stomach and the bowels. But oak bark is used. Dr. Christopher has a famous story of a woman who used it for her gums, her bleeding gums. She had pyorrhea so bad and they were going to pull all her teeth. So she found out that she could pack oak bark powder into her mouth around her gums, and she used that for a couple of weeks, went back to the dentist, and he says that she didn't need to have her teeth pulled. So it's pretty amazing to know what these herbs will do. And then the polyglandular type, we have lots of lacunas around the collarette. These people have more of a risk of having glandular weaknesses, hormonal imbalances. They can have digestive disorders, but you always want to check the heart reaction field in these polyglandular types. Herbal support for polyglandular type motherwort because it can calm and nourish the heart, and it works on the endocrine system and supports hormonal balance. Mullein, also combined with lobelia, 3 parts to 1, helps to regulate the glands and the lymphatic system. And this can be used as a fomentation on swollen or inflamed glands. It works wonderfully for that issue. Ashwagandha, licorice, and other adaptogens are used to strengthen the glandular system, especially adrenals and thyroids. Adaptogens are herbs that help you adapt to stress or changes in your life. So that's why they're really good, and they strengthen and help with the endocrine system. So we want to do regular colon cleansing for people with this polyglandular type. We use Dr. Christopher's lower bowel formula and other dietary measures to cleanse the system, especially cleansing the bowels. When we cleanse the bowels, the rest of the body can cleanse as well. So mullein is the herb that we're going to talk about for the polyglandular type. This herb is called Verbascum thapsus, and it helps reduce swelling in the glandular system. It can be used as a fomentation over swollen glands, and we usually combine it with lobelia because lobelia is a thinking herb, and it helps any herbs you combine it with to work better and to know what needs to happen in the body. Mullein is also a respiratory herb. It is good for any problems with the lungs and asthma. It's been used in bleeding bowels, swollen glands, mastitis, hemorrhoids, and it helps to stop smoking. We use it for spasms and pain. It's a drawing herb. If you put it on the skin, it'll help draw toxins out of the system. It's very soft and pliable. The leaves are used as emergency toilet paper if you need it. And the flowers are used for ear pain and ear infections. They can be soaked in olive oil and strained out, and then that can be used in the ears. It helps to dissolve earwax in the ears. So the anxiety tetanic type, you're always going to see contraction furrows and possibly radial furrows in these eyes. These are people who burn the candle at both ends. They have a family history of stress and tension, and they need to learn with stress to deal with stress in a positive way. These people, their minds are always going. They're usually very smart and intelligent and have an active mind, and they are like a racehorse. They're always constantly busy. But these people do good if you have them walk barefoot in the grass. It helps to ground them. It helps to release static electricity that's built up in their system. You can also use grounding pads and different things, but it's really nice for them to get out in the fresh air and take their shoes off and walk in the grass. They won't want to do it, most of them, because they won't want to take time from their day, but it's a really good activity for them to do. They can do deep breathing, which is also very relaxing. And regular exercise is very important. It helps them get better quality sleep. And they also need to learn how to relax using meditation, yoga, soft music, anything that they do. I had one person that had the anxiety tetanic type, and his way of relaxing was to get on a motorcycle and ride real fast. I talked to him a little bit about different things that he could do besides that, but it really was a medicine for him to get on his motorcycle and go real fast. But these people, they need to stick to a schedule, and they also need to learn to set boundaries and prioritize things in their lives, take regular breaks. And they also, it's very important that they avoid stimulants like caffeine, alcohol, and cigarettes. So herbal support for the anxiety tetanic type. Dr. Christopher's Relaxes formula, his antispasmodic formula is very good for spasms in the muscles and any pain in the digestive tract. His calcium formula is really good because it feeds the nervous system. So there's nervine herbs, and some good nervine herbs here are lobelia, valerian, and lemon balm we've talked about, passion flower, kava kava, and chamomile. But we're going to talk about valerian for the anxiety tetanic type, because Valeriana officinalis, is used for stress. It just very calming. It calms down any type of nervous stress, nervous system disorders. It also strengthens the heart. It strengthens the heartbeat without increasing the heart rate. So it's good for an irregular heartbeat. I often combine it with motherwort when people are having rapid heartbeat. It's also a muscle relaxant. It relieves pain. It's very good for pain and helps people sleep. So valerian, one of my favorites for the nervous system. So subtypes by accumulation, here we have the lymphatic subtypes, the biliary, hematogenic, and we're also going to add the lipemic diathesis here at the end. But the overacidic type, now these have accumulations of extra acid in the body in the form of mucus and toxins. So with these people, we want to open all the eliminative channels, the bowels, the kidneys, the skin, and the lungs. We want to change the diet so that they're eating more alkaline foods and avoid acid type foods. They want to drink plenty of water. These people need exercise, but you don't want to recommend exercise unless they're going to increase their water intake, because exercise produces acids in the system, and we need that water to flush those out. So support for the acidic type, we want to eat alkalizing foods, fresh fruits and vegetables as much as possible. Celery juice is very alkalizing, and other fresh juices as well. Watermelon is really good. Cucumber juice is really good because they also contain the electrolytes that the body needs. We want to eliminate sugar and dairy and processed foods, and also processed meats. We want to use herbs that support the kidneys, that will filter the acids in the blood. So parsley, juniper berries, corn silk, dandelion are some of the diuretic herbs that we talked about earlier. But proper elimination is very important. We want to open all those channels to get things flowing out, so we're not hanging on to things. If the bowels aren't open, then those toxins are going to go to weaker areas of the system and cause symptoms there. So to support the acid type, we want to use horsetail and oat straw that are high in silica. Comfrey is really good as well. So silica, calcium, iodine, and sodium are some of the minerals that these people are low in. We want to use cleansing herbs for the bowels of the kidney, the bloodstream, and the lymph. And Dr. Christopher's cleansing kit has herbs. It has 4 different herbal formulas: the lower bowel, the liver and gallbladder formula. It has the kidney formula and the bloodstream. And it's a really good, just general cleansing kit that people can get and use. It's recommended to use it up to 6 weeks to 6 months. But we want to cleanse and nourish with wheatgrass juice, chlorophyll, and leafy greens. It's really good to have these people do skin brushing and to do the hot and cold showers to get circulation moving. And wheatgrass juice for the overacid type. This is very alkalizing and cleansing to the system. It helps to rebuild the blood. It's high in all the vitamins and the minerals that our blood has. It's identical to the blood without the red corpuscles. It has chlorophyll instead of red corpuscles. But if you're trying to build the blood, wheatgrass is a good way. It helps with digestion and it helps lower cholesterol. And then we're going to go to the hydrogenoid type. Excuse me, I needed a drink. So these people have the lymphatic tophi around the outside edge of their iris, and they also can have the tophi along the collarette. They have more of a tendency to have a lymphatic congestion with swollen glands and frequent tonsillitis. They're more prone to fluid retention, and these people have feelings of limitation. This is a ring of harmony, and they like to avoid conflict at all costs. They like to keep the peace. They also need encouragement and a positive environment. So they have a tendency to tell themselves they can't do things, and they need to find ways to motivate themselves and things that they're good at. So we want to support them with exercise and movement. They always feel better when they're moving and when they're on a good exercise program. Rebounding is a wonderful way to move the lymph. We know that the lymph doesn't have its own pump, so our own movement is the best way to get it moving. Dry skin brushing is wonderful. It helps to move the lymph. We want to go in the direction of the heart. Hydration is very important because the lymph can get very viscous and get stagnant and stuck. So keeping it moist, keeping it fluid is really important by drinking water. Lymphatic drainage massage is good, and potassium broth is really good for these people. So herbal support, we want to add that Mullein and Lobelia formula for the glands and the lymph. We need to cleanse the whole system and keep the bloodstream clean. Bowel cleansing, kidney, liver cleansing. So herbs to keep the lymph clean. Chaparral is pretty powerful at that. Cleavers, poke root as well. Red clover and golden seal. A lot of the alterative herbs also are good lymphatic cleansers as well. So blood cleansing herbs, burdock, red clover, and then herbs for the lymphatic system. Here again, we're going to repeat some of them: mullein, burdock, calendula, poke root, chaparral leaf, astragalus, echinacea, and cleavers. So let's talk about cleavers for a minute. This herb helps move stagnant lymph, and it is good for inflammation in the lymphatic system. It strengthens the immune system. It'll help with swollen glands, and it's healing to the skin. It's also a diuretic, and it's very nutritional. It can be eaten as salads. If it's young, you don't want to have those prickly hooks on it. If you're trying to eat it, it's not too fun, but it's also anti-inflammatory. So it comes out early in the spring, and it can be eaten in salads, but once it gets mature, you can pick it and dry it for use in herbal medicine, but it's not really good to eat at that time. And then when we see the skirfrim, This can be seen in all iris colors. It's the dark outer edge of the iris, and it represents the skin, or where we meet our environment. The skin is known as the third kidney, and it's our largest detoxifying organ. So toxins come out of our skin all the time, and we need to keep it open and moving. And we also need to keep the other eliminated channels open so all the toxins aren't trying to come out of our skin. So this is how we connect to our world. It's how we see the environment around us. If we see the world as a harsh place to be in, we might have that scurfrin in our eyes. A positive attitude is really good for these people. We want to do dry skin brushing. Wear natural fiber clothing that allows the skin to breathe. This is real important. We see people walking around in plastic clothing made from recycled plastic pop bottles. It's not a good idea. We want to let our skin breathe and eliminate toxins through the skin. A warm shower followed by a cold one, and you can go back and forth on these, warm to cold over and over in the shower. This helps bring circulation to the skin when the warm water is going on our skin, and then the cold water flushes out and pushes the blood back into the body. So it's kind of acts like a plunger. We're bringing circulation and nutrition to the skin, and then we're pushing away toxins back into the bloodstream, and so it can be eliminated. So herbs for the skin topically: calendula, comfrey, plantain, or marshmallow, or any of those demulcent herbs are really good for the skin. Internally, we can cleanse the bowels, the livers, the kidney, and the bloodstream. And the extended herbal cleanse that we talked about earlier, using those 4 formulas. But we want to eat a clean diet to reduce toxins in the body that are being eliminated through the skin. We want to keep the bowels open because that allows toxins to escape through the bowels, not the skin. So calendula is one of my favorite herbs to support the skin. It's a topical healer. Calendula officinalis is its botanical name. It helps prevent infection and it heals wounds. This herb was used in the Civil War to prevent sepsis. They used it on the wounds in soldiers who had been, had injuries, and it helped heal their wounds and prevent infection. It helps internally by strengthening all the organs. It's a mild blood cleanser. It's very safe. It's very easy to use. It's very healing. It's also good for the immune system. It's good for coughs. It's good to strengthen the immune system. And we put it in all of our skin products because it's just so good. And then horsetail for the skin, we can use that internally because of its silica content. It strengthens the hair and skin and nails. And it also helps with kidney stones. It helps dissolve tumors, and it's good for the eyes, the ears, the nose and throat, and the glands. So horsetail, if you haven't seen it and you haven't had a chance to pick it, it has those joints in it that you can pull apart. We used to use it when I was a river guide, would use it to scrub our pots because it's pretty harsh. It's not an herb that you want to use it as an extract because it can be harsh on the kidneys because of its silica. So you want to make it as a tea or use it as an extract so that you're not taking the whole plant. And you don't really want to breathe in the powder because it can be kind of harsh on the lungs. So let's talk about Ferrum chromatose. With Ferrum chromatose, we have the tiger striping. We have the snuff tobacco signs there. And these people have difficulty with iron metabolism. They can be anemic. They might have a problem with anemia. And it's also seen in the biliary and the hematogenic irises. So herbal support for the Ferrum chromatose type, yellow dock contains natural iron, and it's usable iron because it's in a plant. Alfalfa is high in minerals, and they're assimilable. The body can use these minerals from the plant, and they're in a balanced state. When we just take minerals that are isolated, it can create an imbalance in the body. So we want to try to get minerals in their natural form from these nutritious herbs that we have that contain all the minerals we need. So yellow dock to support the ferrum chromatose type. This name is Rumex crispus. It's naturally high in iron. The roots go down into the soil and attract iron, and then it brings it up into the plant so that we can use it and absorb that. And so iron supplements are toxic. And sometimes if like children get into their parents' iron supplements, it can be toxic and sometimes even deadly. So we want to make sure that we're keeping those in the cupboard, but also just use a natural type of iron supplement. And it's also a liver tonic and a blood cleanser. So lipemic diathesis, this is that corneal arcus. It can be complete all the way around the iris, or it can just be partial. And it's going to affect the different parts of the body that you'll see it in. Of course, if it's in the upper part of the iris, it's going to affect the head area. And these people have a possibility of raised blood lipids. They have a risk of hardening of the arteries, arteriosclerosis, liver disorders. They can have increased insulin levels and poor glucose metabolism. So if you see this sign in the iris, it takes precedence over everything. We want to work with their heart. We want to work with their liver. We want to work with their blood and cleansing that out. These people need to reduce or eliminate added fats to their diet. They shouldn't be eating fried foods or high fat. They need to reduce the intake of inorganic minerals like table salt, dolomite, and they need to eat a cholesterol lowering diet, which includes high fiber foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts and seeds. Eliminate and cut back on animal products, dairy, meat. They need to eat foods that are high in chlorophyll, leafy greens, chlorella supplements, or even liquid chlorophyll. So herbal support for this type would be lower bowel formulas to keep the bowels moving, milk thistle, dandelion, or barberry to support the liver, ginkgo to increase circulation, gotu kola, rosemary, rhodiola will support brain function and improve memory, hawthorn, garlic, motherwort. These are all herbs that are good for the heart and circulation. And then cayenne is the spotlight herb here. Cayenne, if you're only going to have one herb, a lot of the Dr. Christopher said it should be the number one herb that you have. It increases circulation. It cleanses the arteries. I've seen it stop bleeding over and over. Severe bleeding from bloody nose to cuts, deep cuts. I've also, talked to people who have used it to stop heart attacks. It will heal an ulcer. It's not fun to use it to heal ulcers, but you can heal an ulcer in just a few days with cayenne. It's the number one first aid herb. It's a stimulant. It increases the circulation throughout the body, and it's a catalyst for the other herbs. It helps them. Because it helps the circulation. It helps the other herbs get to where they need to be. So if there's if someone's bleeding, and all the blood is going out of this wound, if you take internally some cayenne pepper, it equalizes the circulation so that all the blood's not going out that wound. It can equalize back into the system, and it stops the bleeding. That way it can stop bleeding if you apply it to a wound as well. So cayenne, number one herb. So herbal cleansing, when we help a client with a cleansing program, we want to go with where they are right now and what they're willing to do. We always see the person as perfect, just the way they are. And we start with a colon, usually with diet and herbs. Dr. Christopher's lower bowel formula or similar product is good starting point for most clients. I don't see too many clients that have a perfect intestinal tract inside their collarette. Do you? They may be open to a juice cleanse or a water fast, but most of the time, maybe not. but they come because they're very sick, some of them, and they're ready to jump right into a program, and they might be willing to do whatever you tell them. But some are just there out of curiosity, and they might want to find out if there's something they can improve their health. And but the very sick client is more likely to follow a serious protocol. So we just have to work with them from where they are. They like to be heard, they like to be listened to, and we need to find out just what's going on with them. And iridology is one of the perfect tools to use for that. So we also want to educate our clients because we don't diagnose or prescribe. We educate and support. We ask questions and help them understand what protocols have been beneficial for the issues that they might be dealing with. We want to listen and we want to learn from them. And we want to help them understand that they are perfect just the way they are and help them find ways to improve from the place they are now. So thank you for listening to this meeting. And like I said, my name's Jo Franks. There's my email address, my website, and my phone number. I appreciate you listening to this, and we'll talk to you later.